to order. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Bertani?
Here.
Councilmember Moy?
Here.
Councilmember Panduro?
Here.
Councilmember Tim?
Here.
Councilmember Tonneson?
Here.
Vice Mayor Vaccaro?
Here.
And Mayor Price.
Here.
Thank
And
you.
the Pledge of Allegiance this evening will be led by Councilwoman Pamela Bertani, please.
Please join me in saluting the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, process for public comments, please. You're not going to have
I was told we weren't having public,
Yes, that is correct. No public
no
comment.
public comments tonight.
so
So
do we
we
go
turn
right
it-
to new business then?
Yes.
Okay.
To new business, please.
Item 1, Resolution 2021-142 of the City Council of the City of Fairfield approving issuance of a commercial cannabis retail business permit to the Showcase LLC, subject to conditions and in accordance with the requirements and procedures of Fairfield Municipal Code, Chapter 10E. And Resolution 2021-143 of the City Council of the City of Fairfield approving issuance of a commercial cannabis retail business permit to Authentic Fairfield LLC, subject to conditions and in accordance with the requirements and procedures of Fairfield Municipal Code, Chapter 10E. And our presenter is Senior Planner Amy Kreimeier.
All right, good evening, Mayor and council members. So tonight we have before you the last two resolutions approving the selected commercial cannabis operators. Just a little background: at the June 1st meeting of the City Council, the council approved Showcase LLC and Authentic Fairfield LLC. And tonight before you, we have resolutions approving the issuance of those permits, subject to conditions of approval and Fairfield Municipal Code requirements. As you remember from last week, condition of approval includes compliance with code requirements such as those listed on the screen, as well as community benefits. All of the community benefits proposed in each of the application as part of their community relations plan and labor and local enterprise plan have been included as conditions of approval. The details and manner in which each business will provide their community benefits will be memorialized in the required community relations agreement. And so the community benefits, again, are unique to each applicant. The table on the screen highlights a selection of some of the most significant benefits being proposed by each of tonight's operators. There is one community benefit that we discussed last week that has been conditioned uniformly for all operators, and that is the condition to hire a minimum of 75% local hires, local to Solano County. One additional condition staff applied to just these two operators, and that is to provide a compassionate care program. So both previously approved retail operators, Responsible and Compliant Retail and JJVI Enterprises, committed to providing a compassionate care program with their applications. The Showcase and Authentic Fairfield did not propose such a program, and staff felt that the ability to provide reduced or no-cost medicine to individuals such as those suffering from terminal illness or PTSD is a substantial benefit to the residents of Fairfield. And so with the inclusion of this condition, all 4 retail applicants will be required to provide a compassionate care program. And so, with that, we recommend Council adopt resolutions 2021-142 and 2021-143.
And Mayor and council members, just give a clarification here as the purpose of this meeting tonight is a special meeting. All that can be considered are the 2 resolutions on the agenda tonight. The public hearing is closed, so we're not taking new testimony on all the various other applications that were received. And so the focus tonight is simply this, is to consider the resolutions and the findings and conditions of approval. So anyone in the audience can get up and speak on those items, that is the resolution and the findings and conditions, but nothing else at this point in time. And then after we come back, after the public hearing, I have just a few more comments to make, just in terms of some of the legal issues that have been raised over the last couple of weeks.
So not a public hearing, but public comments
Yes.
on these items.
Yes. All right.
Anyone choosing to speak on these two items? Okay, seeing done, we'll
Right.
Go right to
That makes it
council
very,
action.
that makes it very simple then. So just want to point out one of the comments have been made in the last day here, and it was just the letters we received about how the findings in this resolution are not adequate, and we, of course, very strongly disagree with that. And I think some of the confusion that got created here was that, if you recall, the council had asked, after we did away with the point system, what type of criteria maybe should we consider as part of the evaluation. We were trying to narrow down the field to a smaller number of applicants, and therefore you adopted a resolution, which was 2021-80, that set forth 7 criteria for you to consider. Now, those weren't findings. That was just a tool for you to use to narrow down the field. The municipal code, our cannabis regulations, is very clear as to the findings that you have to make in order to grant a permit. And there's 2 of them, and those 2 are in this resolution, in both resolutions tonight. And they get into some of the details of the reasons why those various requirements have been met. And so, in our view, again, we believe that the findings are adequate and they meet the requirements of law for taking action at tonight's meeting. And I also just want to comment, too, just in terms of the process. As we all know, the process had to change midstream. But in fact, in my view, this became a fairer process because all 14 applicants were able to compete. And they all were competing on the same basis, all had a fair chance to give their presentations, and the council then gave us deliberations. So again, at the end of the day, this was a very fair process that all were able to participate in. In many ways, I believe it worked out better for us to be able to hear all 14 people, all 14 applications be submitted to you. There's only one change I would make to the resolution, is just to address this point about the evaluation criteria. Our resolution refers to the prior resolution that establishes criteria, but I would just add one thing in its recital number 7 on the first page of each resolution, where it says that following the close of the public hearing, the council, and I would just add the words, considered the evaluation criteria set forth in Resolution 2021-80 and narrowed their review to 5 top applicants. It just clarified how this evaluation criteria was intended to be used. And so we will add that into the first resolution and also the second resolution. And therefore, when we make the motion to adopt the resolutions, it should be as the resolutions as are amended by this additional language. So at this point in time, it's Mayor and Council. It's up to the Council if it has any comments to make or if a motion would be made at this time.
Councilwoman Moy, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just have a question of the city attorney, and that is, I'd like to know, staff did a really good job going through the applications and pulling out what the promises were to the city and our citizens and what needs to be done. What happens if those things aren't met? What happens?
Well, there are 2 things. One is, with regards to the community benefits, that has to be reduced to a written agreement. And so the permit cannot be issued until the written agreement is finalized and approved by the city. And therefore, that will be a binding contract that will be enforceable in terms of the offers that have been made. And also, with regards to all the conditions of approval that are attached here, those are enforceable by the city by legal action. If there is, again, a violation of those conditions, we could actually bring a lawsuit against the party to enforce the condition if we need to get to that far. So, but all these are enforceable. And especially with community benefits, this will be a binding written agreement, so it actually is also a contractual agreement that they must comply.
What if it's something like, for instance, the amount of money that they're going to give, and if they promise a certain amount, but we go into a recession? And I don't know if pot is recession-proof. I would guess it is. I think booze is. But I'm just wondering, what if they don't get the same amount in? Do we still hold them to whatever the number is? Let's say it was 5,000.
Well, in terms of the the actual tax that's paid to the city, I mean, that's payable under
Right.
our tax ordinance.
Yes.
In terms of these agreements to make contributions to community groups, again, that is binding. Now, they can come back to the city and say, you know, these are times have become tough and we'd like to have this amended. But we would have to agree to it. So,
Right.
again, that's a binding agreement until it's changed by both sides by an amendment to the agreement.
Okay.
Regardless of what happens with circumstances in the economy or otherwise.
Yeah, I just think it's fair that they all know that it is binding, that if
Yes.
they say they're going to give this much, they're going to have to.
That is correct.
You know, instead of it being an estimate, some of these people are doing it for the first time. Some have done it for a while, but don't know the Fairfield market yet. So I just wanted to clarify those things. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions for the city attorney? Councilman Tim, please.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it's for the city attorney or for staff, but who or when do we or staff decides where the community benefit money goes to?
Well, that would be set forth within the agreement, so, which will be, again, finalized before the permit is actually issued.
Amy,
It will be
please.
finalized within the agreement. Some have already thought out a more complete and robust community relations plan. Some have already identified partners or establishing a community investment fund to be distributed by a separate board. So in the instances where they have, already outlined that, that is something that we have conditioned. But again, the actual manner of how that is set up and how that is done and gets distributed will all be a part of the community relations agreement.
And does that come back to council then for approval?
We're both looking at each other. We need to double check that in terms of how that was set up. So
The resolution, it says that it goes, the city manager
Yeah,
does it.
that's correct, yeah.
It's 100% gone with us now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I had a momentary lapse on that one, so
Yeah.
sorry about that.
Okay.
Any other comments, colleagues? Mr. City Attorney, we can take action on both items at the
No,
same
let's do both individually.
individually.
Yeah, so the first action would be to adopt Resolution 2021-142, which is granting the permit to the showcase, and that is with the revision I read into the record on recital number 7. So it'd be a motion to adopt this resolution as amended.
Okay, is there a motion, please? Been moved by Councilman Tonneson. Second?
Second.
Councilman Tim. Roll call vote, please, Madam Clerk.
I believe since everyone's here, we no longer have to do roll call.
That is
There'll
very
be a
true.
roll call.
Yeah, it's only when someone calls in.
Still a roll call.
One for
Mayor-
old time's sakes.
Yeah, the mayor still asked for a roll call.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Councilmember Bertani?
For the reasons that I have stated previously and the concerns that I continue to have regarding these applicants and the kind of after-the-fact consideration of lately submitted evidence and due process concerns, the mail to my home, the surreptitious emails, I am going to vote no on both, I guess, for this one vote. So my vote remains no.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Moy?
No.
Councilmember Panduro?
Yes.
Councilmember Tim?
Yes.
Councilmember Tonneson?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Vaccaro?
Yes.
And Mayor Price?
Yes, motion carries 5-2. Thank you very much. We go to the next item, please.
The next item is Resolution Number 2021-143, and this grants the permit to Authentic Fairfield. And similarly, recital number 7 would be revised to add the language, considered the evaluation criteria set forth in Resolution 2021-80 to be consistent with the last resolution.
Entertain a motion to approve. It's been moved by Councilman Moy. Second, please. Is there a second to that motion?
I will second it based on the legal opinion from our city attorney. Yes, I will.
Okay. Roll call vote, please, Madam Clerk.
And this would be the motion as amended.
As amended, yes.
Councilmember Bertani?
No.
Councilmember Moy?
Yes.
Councilmember Panduro?
Yes.
Councilmember Tim?
Yes.
Councilmember Tonneson?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Vaccaro,
Yes.
and Mayor Price.
Yes, motion carries 6-1. Thank you very much. There is no other business before this body. We are adjourned. Thank you.